Shabbat Shalom. Greetings to the Heavenly Father. Glory and honor to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, the Father of light, the Father of truth, the Father of life. Blessings and honor upon his name on this Shabbat. And to Messiah Yahweh Shah, the only begotten Son of the Father, the firstborn of the dead, the high priest who was broken that we might be made whole. Glory and honor to Father Yahweh. Glory and honor to Messiah Yahweh Shah. And in his righteousness we come before the Father. Greetings to the 12 tribes, scattered as the word of the Most High shows us, scattered into the four corners of the earth, who are now awakening to who they are and coming back to their Heavenly Father and to the true Hebrew Messiah, Yahweh Shah. Greetings. Greetings to the 144,000 who are now being trained to be prepared as the forerunners of the kingdom of Messiah, which is going to appear in just a few short years. Greetings. Greetings to the precious ones of the Gentiles, chosen before the foundation of the earth from the children of Ham and Shem and Japheth, and plucked out from Babylon to join among the true Israelites. Greetings. Greetings to the chat, Brother Gary Joseph and his wife. Only One Way, Yakoba Bun Israel, Brother Naviska and his family, Brother Brandon Beckman, Yafi, Isha Shama, Sister Isha Shama, and Brother Frankie, Castle King and his family, Brother Stephen Kelly, all of you. Greetings to all of you. We are, as I mentioned last week, and again, I apologize for missing Wednesday, but sometimes you need some time. So that was that day. Praise the Most High for that I had it. And thank you for your understanding. Thank you also for your prayers. Greatly appreciate. Greatly appreciate. Brother Iman Prakash and his family. Greetings. As I mentioned last week, we're studying now the chapter 17 of Revelation. And as I mentioned, there's several depths to this thing. We just touched on the beginning part, our last study. We actually went from verse 1, and we didn't actually go through all of verse 5, I believe. I think we stopped in the middle of verse 5. Let me just make sure of that I'm telling you the truth there. I believe we stopped in the middle of verse 5. Yes, that's what we did. We stopped in the middle of verse 5, and there's some more depths that we got to go to get into this and to gain understanding of this. This verse tells us a lot more than people realize, and we're going to discuss that what's the word I'm looking for? We're going to discuss that biblical principle. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to use what we already studied in Revelation to help us do that. Good evening, Brother Diamond Hosen, Brother Superstar, and Sister Wade. Good evening to you. Akawan Banya, my brother. Brother Manny. Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. Brother Gary Joseph again, to all of you. We were in Revelation chapter 13. And if you recall, Revelation 13, of course, is a very pivotal chapter, and we're going to continue to be looking to it because this is actually where we are right now. We're developing the beast power that we see in Revelation 13:1 is almost complete. And the rest of the chapter is where we are in its development. And so we saw the United States of America in chapter 13. And we noted a few things. Whereas in chapter 13, verse 1, the beast that has the 7 heads and the 10 horns and the 10 crowns on its horns, we noted the 7 heads came from Daniel chapter 7. Babylon having 1 head. The Medes and the Persians was 1 head. The Greeks were 4 heads. And then there was Rome with 1 head. So you had 7 total. So and also, I just want to make sure, as a side note, not only did those 7 heads come from Daniel 7, but let me ask you all a question. First quiz question of the night. Are you ready for the first quiz question of the night? Why did the Most High choose or distinguish these 4 powers above all the powers that have existed on planet Earth throughout the ages, throughout the centuries. He chose these four to highlight. Why did Zechariah tell us that he chose these four powers to highlight? That's right. So these seven heads are powers that are not only the heads of the beast, but represent the powers that scattered Yah's people. Okay, so the seven heads represent the powers that scattered Yah's people. Okay, y'all got that? So they're after and of course, Revelation 13 backs that up when it says it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. Okay, everybody got that? Shalom, Sister Joseph. So everybody got that? So these not only are the powers of the earth, both politically and religiously, but they represent the powers that are in direct opposition to Israel and have put their hands literally on the Israelites. And you know the Father don't like that, right? So when we studied this, and in Revelation chapter 13, and we looked at verse 1, and we saw this beast coming up out of the sea, right? It rose up out of the sea. And we saw that the word of the Most High explained to us both in Isaiah, right, and in Daniel. What does it mean when it comes up out of the sea? What does the sea represent? And then, of course, we're going to see it again in Revelation chapter 17. What does the sea, second quiz question of the night, what does the Bible tell us? That's right. It represents the Gentile nations. The Gentile nations, that's right. And they're fighting for supremacy. And when one rises up, it's the victor. Does that make sense, y'all? So when one rises up out of the sea, it's rising up from among the Gentiles, and it represents the victor, at least at that time. That's Asatan brings forth. And not only that, it represents a victor that persecutes Hebrews, that scatters and persecutes Hebrews. Everybody on the same page so far? Because I'm about to show you something. I want to make sure that we got that part so we get this next part. Okay, everybody good? Okay, that's right, Almana Prakash, 2 for 2. So now in Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, let's look at that. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And it goes on to say, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. So let's stop here for a minute because we're getting ready to get deep in this thing. And so let's stop here for a minute. So it exercises all the power of the seven-headed beast. And of course, one of those powers is that it reigned over the saints. It says it was given to make war with the saints. So this power also makes war with the Hebrews. Testing 1, 2, 3. Everybody got me so far? This power makes war with the Hebrews, just like the beast before it, right? Okay. And of course, we all know, not by theory, but by personal experience, that this is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. But wait a minute. We did notice that whereas the previous beast came up out from among the Gentile nations, this one did not come up from among the Gentile nations. This one came up from the earth. And we noted that at the founding of what is now North America, when the Europeans, and they will tell you this, I'm not even guessing, they will tell you this by their own mouths. So you don't have to believe me, believe their testimony. But the Bible is already showing us. When they came to the land that is now called North America, there were people already here. First of all, we understand that there were people already here. But the people that were here, whether they're we're in what's now called Canada, what's now called Alaska, what's now called the United States of America, what's now called Mexico, the people that were already here lived in groups called tribes. And their houses were tents. And they lived by nations. And they all worshiped different types of gods, but all of them believed in one called the Great Spirit. And they fought with bows and arrows. And they can take steel and rock and make them into axes and hatchets. They would kill animals and they would not waste anything. They would use the coat of the animal, the meat of the animal. They would use everything and not waste, and they would live off the earth. They knew how to live off the earth and how to plant and have cattle and buffalo, but they only killed what they needed, no more. And these people were killed off by the Europeans. And this happened, like I said, all of North America. And we know all of the Caribbean islands. And we also know Australia. Same thing, right? Same thing was in all of those places, right? And so that what was here when the European came. And the Bible say they didn't represent the sea. They didn't represent the sea. So if they didn't represent the sea, who were they? If they didn't represent the sea, who were they? That was already here. Who were they? That's right. They were the Father's people. That's right. And so let's look. Let's see. I'm going to read because we need a second witness. Correct? We need another witness. So let's go to the book of Hosea. I love Hosea because Hosea's prophecy is about the northern tribes. So let's look at Hosea. Hosea chapter 3. It's only 5 verses. Hosea chapter 3 is only 5 verses. Let's look at Hosea and let's look at chapter 3 of Hosea. There's more. And while y'all are getting to that in your Bibles, I'm just looking because there's another thing I want aside from chapter 3. But there's another thing I want. I found it. Okay. Ready? Hosea chapter 3 from 1 to 5. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. So this is a Revelation's a witness and Hosea is a witness. And then said Yahweh unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahweh toward the children of Israel, who took to other gods and loved flagons of wine. See, I told you they worshiped all kind of other gods, but they believed in this great spirit. There was a reason they were off the land. Verse 2. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an omer of barley, and for half an omer of barley. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot. Thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod. And afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek Yahweh their Most High and David their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days. Okay. Same Hosea chapter 7. Same Hosea chapter 7. Hosea chapter 7. Let's see. Because the northern kingdom was led by Ephraim. So it's signed like as the southern kingdom is Judah, the northern kingdom is Ephraim. So when it talks of the northern kingdom, it uses Ephraim as the tribe that talks about the northern kingdom. So here in chapter 7, I'm going to begin at verse 8 of chapter 7. Yeah, I'm going to go from chapter 8 of chapter 7 from verse 8 and I'm going to read down from verse 8. Oh man, I'm down to verse 16. There's more too. I'm just trying to pick out the verses that we need, because we could read the whole thing, and we have studied Hosea. There's a whole Bible study on Hosea, but Yeah, there's a whole Bible study. But all right, let's go from verse 8 of chapter 7. I'm going to read down to verse chapter 16. But watch verse 9. Okay, watch verse 9. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, gray hairs are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth it not. He mixed himself among the people, Gentiles. Okay. And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to Yahweh their Most High, nor seek him for all this. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt, they go to Assyria. When they shall go, I will spread my net upon them, and I will bring them down as fowls of heaven. I will chasten them as their congregation hath heard. Woe unto them, for they have fled from me. Destruction unto them, because they have transgressed against me. Though I have redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me. They have not cried unto me with their heart when they howled upon their beds. They assemble themselves for corn and wine, and they rebel against me. Though I have bound and strengthened their arms, yet they do imagine mischief against me. They return, but not to the Most High. They are like a deceitful bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword for the rage of their tongue, and this shall be their derision in the land of Egypt, that is the house of bondage. There you go. And there's more, but you can see Ephraim has been scattered. Ephraim is mixed among the people. Ephraim goes into the house of bondage. Y'all see that? So there's more though. There's a lot more. I'm just trying to get the important pieces out of here, but there's a lot more in the book of Hosea about Ephraim. So you can see that the United States of America became the United States of America by destroying Ephraim. Mexico became Mexico by destroying Ephraim. Canada became Canada by destroying Ephraim. Australia became Australia by destroying Ephraim. You see that? So we see what happened here. Revelation is telling us it wasn't Gentiles that were there when this lamb-like beast from the devil took over. It wasn't Gentiles that were there. It's telling us northern tribes were there. Does that make sense, y'all? It's telling us the northern tribes were there. It wasn't, there was no Gentiles there. There was northern tribes that was there. Okay. All right. And we got that by simply looking at Revelation 11 and understanding what earth is as opposed to what sea is in the prophecy. Now, abomination. Now, both abomination in the Old Testament and abomination in the New Testament, they're two different words, obviously, because one is Hebrew and one is Greek, but they have the same meaning. And the meaning in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, and in the Old Testament, the word abomination, it means disgusting, filthy, idolatrous. That's what it means. Disgusting, filthy, idolatrous. That's abomination. Okay. Now, in the New Testament, it's a different word, but it means the same thing. Bedel agma, abomination, detestation, idolatry. So abomination in the Bible means something that's detestable and idolatrous, a false god. Does that make sense, y'all? In both the Old Testament and the New Testament, something that's detestable and idolatrous, a false god. Okay. All right. So now in the book of Revelation, we see, now, first let's get, a witness for that. I think it's, I think it's First Kings, or is it Second Kings? Let me just see here. It is, I know it's one of them Kings. Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you. It's Second Kings. All right. Second Kings. Yeah. Second Kings chapter 23. Actually, let me start at chapter 11 because that's where Solomon did his thing. First Kings chapter 11. Yeah, that's where Solomon started this mess in the southern kingdom when he started. And the thing is, people get caught up with the fact that Solomon married, 700 wives or whatever, that he had 700 wives and 700 wives and princes and 300 concubines. So he had 700 wives and 300 girlfriends. Now, people get caught up in that. Now, the Bible did say in the book of Deuteronomy, it implies that a man should only have 2 wives at the most, not more than that. Okay, not more than 2, but it wasn't the amount of wives that caused him problems. It was that they were foreign wives. They were strange women. And because they were strange women, in order to please them, he worshiped their abominations. And that's where he got in trouble. In fact, let's take a look at 1 Kings chapter 11. And let's read from verse 1 down to verse 4 to start us off. 1 Kings, they led him astray. And this is again, brethren, this is the power of the woman. The woman's power is such that she can be used to help a man become all he can be and support him in the Father, or she can be an influence for evil. So, we always say this, but it's real important. Be careful who you sleep with, you marry. Be careful who you have children with. And unfortunately, a lot of us learn these things after the fact, right? Like we already had sex with them, or we already had children. And then we find out too late that maybe we messed up. Both men and women do the same thing. I'm not just, focusing on one, but that's what, we could all relate to this. Like you be with somebody and you find out later, this was the wrong move. Now, the thing is, the Father, as I mentioned all the time, when you are a follower of Most High Yah, and one of the things we always say from the word is, in all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So if you're a follower of Father Yah, and you are seeking a spouse, boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, you will acknowledge the Father and let him choose. And this is where, and at this point where people get messed up. They are not ready to accept his saying no. In other words, they have their heart set on whatever, this person, okay? And the Father will be faithful to give you warnings, multiple warnings, saying no. Or he will give you, as he gave me, multiple signs saying yes. And I know for myself how I knew it was no, because I always assumed it was no. I always assumed it was no first. When I prayed for a wife, I always assumed it was no until the Father said yes. So when I seen somebody that I was attracted to, I was looking for the signs of no. The Most High blessed me because I was only like 21 when this process started, maybe 22. And so he blessed me as a young knucklehead. That part I listened. And I was looking for no. So I would talk to a certain sister and she'd be attractive to me, but I was saying, okay, Father, wait, and then I would get the no. And I would say, okay, that's enough of that. And so when I found my wife, I was again looking for no, but the strength of the yes, of this is her, was so strong. And it had to be, because I wanted to make sure. See, I didn't realize how deep my parents' divorce hurt me. I knew it hurt me. I knew it depressed me, but I didn't realize how deep it was, that I was even subconsciously determined to never get married if I was going to have a marriage like theirs. Never do it. So I would go say no. But with my wife, it was yes. It was yes. It was sign after sign after sign after sign. And I was praying 4 times a day, 5 times a day, because I was concerned, because I was feeling yes, but I was worried that, man, maybe it's me. Because no had come so many times. But it was yes. And 39 years now, going on 40 years later, we can testify as yes, right? But because our wants and desires, brethren, are strong. Our wants and desires are strong. Like I said, I know a brother been married 6, 7 times, and all his wives can pass for sisters. And he keeps, every time he said, the Lord sent her to me. I finally had to rebuke him. I said, you said this 6 or 7 times. 6 times that I know about. And in all cases, it ends, it's a train wreck. So you getting what you want, but you're not getting what the Most High wants. Don't pin all of them saying the Lord did this when he didn't. And he still can't see it, because his desire for this type of woman is so strong that he keeps trying to pin it on the Father. But it's not the Father. It's him. And so our desire for what we want is so strong. That's why you got to assume it's no. And the Father has to keep showing you yes. And he will. He will give you all the signs. He will give you the signs. Okay? No, 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 yes. And be prepared if yes never comes. Time is short, brethren. I got to tell you. Time is short. Very short. Okay? It could be never. It could be way to the kingdom. It could be. But assume no until you catch the yes. But he's going to show you when you acknowledge him. Now, Solomon stopped doing that. And the problem with Solomon, and this is very dangerous, Solomon was rich. Solomon was rich and powerful. See, when a man is rich and powerful, or a woman, they're in a very vulnerable position. When you could get anything you want, when everybody's bowing to you and telling you whatever you want to hear, you're in trouble. So that's why Daniel, when he became like one of the 3 presidents, the top president, he prayed 3 times a day. When you have that much authority and power, you can get in trouble. Eunuch or not, you can get in trouble. Okay? And unfortunately for Solomon, being David's son, king of Judah, king of Israel, he was the most powerful man on earth at that time. Because David left Israel as the most powerful nation on earth. And so he was in trouble. And so here we are, 1 Kings chapter 11, beginning at verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, woman of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh, his Most High, as was the heart of David, his father. Again, this, brethren, is what the Bible is talking about when it says of the 144,000, they are not defiled with women. Remember that? They are virgins. They are not defiled. That means they are pure. It doesn't mean they never had sex. It means they are pure. Why? Because they are not defiled with Edomites, Ammonites, Moabites, Zidonians, and Hittites. They are not defiled with the children of the whore. Okay? Same First Kings chapter 11 now. Let's go verse 5 down to verse 8. Okay, 5 to 8. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination, see, detestable idol of the Ammonites. That's a detestable idol, abomination. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh and went not fully after Yahweh, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. Likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. So an abomination is a detestable idol to the Father. Okay? Now, let's go Revelation chapter 17, and let's go to verse 5. Revelation chapter 17, verse 5. We talked about the first two parts of her character. So, and upon verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, and we talk about mystery because she does everything in secret by craft. The Bible told us in Daniel chapter 8, it's a king that operates by craft or secret, mysterious, deceitful. Babylon the Great. So now it's trying to bring back Nimrod's kingdom, except it's bringing it back bigger. Nimrod had a one world government. He wanted a one world religion. He had a kingdom. This sister here is making it again, bringing back under the guise of her boyfriend. She's bringing back all of the same powers that Nimrod had. Okay, making the earth of one. Now, you can't make it of one speech because the Most High has confounded the languages, but they operate in signs. And that's right. They make everybody a global citizen. You have a UN now that unites it's called the United Nations, and it's led by the United States. And the Bible tells us that it's controlled, that is, the United States, by Vatican. So we see the whole thing just by looking at the word, and it's right there in front of us for us to see. Now, the next part, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, this is very interesting. When we studied chapter 2 of the book of Revelation, and we went through the 7 churches, before I even go there, let's go first to 2 Thessalonians. Let's go first to 2 Thessalonians before I come back to Revelation to the 7 churches. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians first. Second Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Watch the context of this part of the letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to the Thessalonica assembly. This is Thessalonians chapter 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And let's begin at verse 1 and go down to verse 4. Now remember, this was first century. This was first century, okay? So now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of the Master Yahushua, the Messiah, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that day of Messiah is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day, that is the day of Messiah, shall not come except there come a falling away first, that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So he's saying Messiah will not return until there's going to be a falling away. That is a falling away from the faith. Okay, everybody got me so far? So there must be a falling away from the faith first. And then in that falling away, verse 4, the man of sin will be revealed. And it says, this man of sin opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he, as a God, sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. You're following me so far? So he's saying the Messiah not coming yet until there's a falling away. So the faith that they had, which is the faith of Messiah, there was going to be a falling away from that. And there was going to be a revealing of the man of sin who thinks he's a God. Now, wait a minute. Let's compare that to Daniel chapter 11. Compare what we just read now to Daniel chapter 11. Look again, Daniel chapter 11. And let's go to Daniel 11. Let's go to verse 36. Compare what we just read in 2 Thessalonians, because Paul got it from somewhere. 2 Thessalonians, we're going to compare to now. Daniel chapter 11, from verse 36 down to verse 39. Daniel chapter 11, compare what we just read. Watch the similarity. In Daniel 11, from 36 to 39. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, a God whom his fathers knew not, shall he honor with gold and silver. And notice the whore now, gold and silver and precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. Do you see the similarity here? And do you see the similarity with the whore with the golden cup in her hand, decked with precious stones? See? So let's put it all together now. So we're saying the Bible is telling us that the Messiah would not appear until this whore is developed. Once the whore is developed and there's a falling away from the faith of Messiah, and you get the God of forces, which divides the land for gain, and all we got to do for that is know our own history. Who divided us for gain? It was the three Abrahamic religions. Now, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So we're talking about an entity that has children. We're talking about an entity that has children. Okay? Now, unlike what Christianity teaches you, the Bible never said in any place that there's a religion called Christianity. In the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, and Christians try to hang on to them 3 verses that use the word Christian. But there was no Christian churches in the New Testament. The book of Acts spoke of people who were followers of the way. They also called them disciples more than anything. That's the word that's used. And at first we know that they were only Hebrews, and then afterward came the Gentiles being grafted in, as Paul said, to the Hebrew tree. There was no Christianity. So unlike what they tell you Christianity started, what they're trying to imply is that the Messiah created a religion, that he created this new religion. Let me ask you, those of you who have now read the Bible, many of you more than once, do you get the idea that the Messiah started a new religion? Was that his mission? To come to earth and create a new religion, do away with everything Moses gave us, and let's start over. Is that what he was doing? So then if what we're saying is true, he did not come here to do that, then that means the assumption that Christianity comes from the Messiah must be false, because he did not create any new religion, and we don't see any Christianity. And let me take it a step further, if I may. So Messiah came here. He did not come here to make a separate assembly of Gentiles and to change his identity from an Israelite to a Christian. Is that correct? Do you see that anywhere in his words in any of the Gospels? Did he come here to change his identity, to identify only with Gentiles, and to make himself European, to make himself look like the Gentile? Is that what he did? Is that what the Gospels teach us? No, they do not teach us that. Okay? They do not teach us that. So, we can assume now that the first century, there was no Christianity. There was no Christian churches. These people were followers of the way. They were followers of the way, and they were mostly Hebrews. Gentiles came later, but they were mostly Hebrews. And Paul clearly tells us the reason the Gentiles came in because of the falling away of the Israelites, and that is only going to happen until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. And then Messiah also teach us and said, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay. Yes, GD is giving you good advice. If you're on a phone and you're getting ads, you can get the free ad blocker on your phone and block all the ads. Yep. Thank you, GD. Sorry about that, brother. Everybody with me so far? Everybody with me so far? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can see here, this harlot has children. Now, let's look back now in Revelation chapter 2, where we were earlier when we started studying Revelation. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 2. And we see certain characters being brought into the book of Revelation from the Old Testament. Not that these characters will exist in the time of the Revelation, which is now, but not in the flesh, not by name, but in spirit. They will exist. What am I talking about? Well, in Revelation, we first saw, no, I get you, GD. No, it's okay. We are not ignorant of the devil's devices. You're just trying to help. I got you, brother. And I know the sister's just getting frustrated because she's seeing these ads and she wants to get rid of them. So we understand. We're not ignorant of the devil or the enemy's devices. We know what he's trying to do. But it's all good. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Okay, Revelation chapter 2. All right. Now, let's go to the church in Pergamos. And you're going to see a character from ancient Israel in Pergamos. Okay, you're going to see a character from ancient Israel in Pergamos, right? So let's go. Revelation chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 14. This is Pergamos, the era of Pergamos' church. But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. So Balaam was hired by Balak in the book of Numbers to stop, to destroy, to hinder Israel because they were coming through. And he did it by having them worship other gods at the lead of going after women. So they were going after women, and those women were leading them to worship other gods. And they start eating things sacrificed unto idols, obeying idols' celebrations. Balaam. So this man was introduced here in the spirit. He said, you have somebody there named Balaam and Balak that's doing these things, right? So now this was the beginning of what we just read about the turning away. So far, so good. Everybody with me so far? That was the beginning of the turning away, okay, which we finger Constantine because he became a Christian, 4th century. Okay, now, the next church brings up another interesting character from the Old Testament, and this is Thyatira, and let's take a look at her. This is Thyatira, same Revelation chapter 2, beginning at verse 20. Now, this one, listen carefully now. You're going to get some stuff here. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20. Notice what it says. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. Now, let's talk a minute about Jezebel from First Kings. Let's talk about Jezebel. So now you have Ahab is the king of Israel, the northern tribes. Ahab is the king of the northern tribes, the bloodline, a king of the bloodline. Testing 1, 2, 3, follow me? So Ahab is a king of the northern tribes. His queen is a worshiper of Baal. Okay? So the Most High sends his prophet, Elijah, to tell Ahab, there ain't going to be no rain until my word comes back. So now, the whole nation was worshiping Baal. And the one prophet that was worshiping Yah that we saw at that time was the troubler of Israel. Whereas if you go back to when they first came in the land, Jezebel wouldn't even exist. But at this time now, it's reversed. So the true Israelites are worshiping Baal. And the one that won't worship Baal, they want to kill him. And so later on, when Elijah is told, go show yourself to Ahab, and he comes back to Ahab, the first thing out of Ahab's mouth is, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And Elijah answers him, I did not trouble Israel, but you and your father's house, because you have rejected Yahweh and you're worshiping Balaam. But they made it sound as if Balaam was the right way and the worship Yahweh was the wrong way. What's it like now? If you're not one of the three Abrahamic religions, what are you called? Okay, so what we are looking for in Revelation 17, in the mother of harlots, we're looking for children of the whore. Now, this basic common sense, for a woman to be a mother, she has to first exist, and she exists before her children. Like she exists first, and then she produces children. Testing 1, 2, 3. So she exists first, and then she produces children. So this whore has children that came after her. What children came after her? 3 Abrahamic religions came after her. 3 Abrahamic religions came after her. And if you're not in those 3 Abrahamic religions, you're in a cult. Y'all following me? Testing 1, 2, 3. So she was first, and everything else comes from her. First came Protestant religions, Protestant came out of her. Then that was later. Then first came Islam, came out of her. Khadijah was a Christian. That was the older woman. That was the first wife of Muhammad, Khadijah. Then after Khadijah and after Islam took fire 100 years later, the Ashkenazis decided we're going to be followers of Judaism. So the Edomites came with their form of following of Abraham, and you get Judaism. So the harlots came, the harlot had children, and there were 3 children that she had. Mother of abominations. And as y'all know, all of the 3 Abrahamic religions have untold number of offshoots, right? Right? So Christianity has untold number. And then there's different sects of Islam. There's Sunni Islam, there's Shiite Islam, there's different sects of Islam. Okay? And then there's different sects of Judaism. You have Hasidic Judaism, you have Zionists, right? You have different sects of Judaism. So within each of them, there's still splinters, is my point. Okay. Y'all catching that? So far, so good. All right. So back to Revelation 17. Revelation 17, let's go back to verse 5. And so it says, upon her forehead, again, this is deep. This is her character. This is what she made out of. She come directly from Asatan, who gives her power, seat, and authority. And this is part of her character. She's mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations. Again, what is abomination? It's detestable idols. Detestable idols. Like Santa Claus. Like Easter. Detestable idols. Okay? Ishtar. Exactly. And there's more, but you guys get the point. Okay? You guys get the point. Now, again, the 7 heads have one thing in common. They all scattered Israel. They laid hands on Israel and Judah. And so this final iteration, if you will, is a combination of powers that have been scattering Israel and Judah and persecuting them and making war against them. You see, brethren, do you understand what you're up against as a Hebrew? I mean, you can feel the toxicity, you can feel the pressure, you can feel what it's like to be a Hebrew. You understand that, but now you know why this war is against you. You understand why, okay? Because the powers that created the system of Babylon that we're now in were created from the fabric of our persecution. And all you have to do is look at the United States. What people that wave that flag all over the place don't ever want to acknowledge is this country was built on our backs. And I mean literally on our backs for more than 300 years of free labor. Nobody and none of the Christian churches ever acknowledge that. When they be waving their American flag and talking about, the Confederate flag and all that and freedom, and the Star Spangled Banner and all that, they don't never tell you, all these railroad tracks, these wealthy families that have money for hundreds of years, that their wealth, that these tracks was built by us. Us. And as Martin Luther King brought out very well before they killed him, how the European poor people that came from Europe over here, once we built the country, they were given farms, they were given free land, they were given free training, they were giving low interest loans for machines to build on their land. And these are the people that were out there in the Midwest that built on their land, time for King and all that coming from Northern Europe. And they talking about they built it by their own bootstraps. Yeah, right. Right. See, so remember, that's why verse 6, Revelation 17:6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So, brethren, look here, let's be honest about it now. All of the Hebrews that went through those slave times and all of the Hebrews now are victims of this system. Now, I'm not saying all of us are angels, that's for sure not. But we are, as a class, victims of the system. A system built against us from the beginning. Its foundation was to make sure we're not going nowhere. And to make sure we can be exploited so that they can get the highest profit out of us. And brethren, what most of the people, even today, don't understand, especially like when I see some of these so-called rednecks with their Confederate flags and their flag waving and all that, and they are the biggest suckers of all. They're being suckered, exploited, and used, and think that they're getting ahead. Like they think, for example, like if you could stop all people from coming in the southern border, well, shoot, your problems will be solved. Really? Is that why, it's mostly white males that thirst after little kids? Is that going to start stopping the southern border? That's going to stop your problem? You understand? Is that going to stop your problem? See, it's crazy. But they've been hoodwinked, they've been bamboozled, and they don't even realize it. And they're trusting in the very men that are the descendants of those that created this system to destroy them too. And they don't even realize it. They're voting against their own interest. Okay? And all of that is to keep the Hebrew principally down and to exploit him and destroy him as much as they can. In every aspect, think of it, every aspect, the privatization of the prisons, the destruction from within the home, the drug trade, the redlining, the separation of the family. I mean, every area that they can get at us, they have done it, brethren. That's why I say, drunken with the blood of the saints and with the martyrs of the Messiah. And I'm not saying, and look, there's been, obviously children of Yafet that have died for the Messiah. Obviously. I mean, we think of John Brown, we think of William Tyndale, and there's been others like them that have given their lives for the truths that they knew. And they're going to be in the kingdom. But don't let the exception discount the rule. You hear what I'm saying? Don't let the exception discount the rule. Okay? The exception proves the rule. And, you see them here and there. But for the most part, as a group, as a collective, they're going to have a problem. Because you placed hands on the wrong people. Okay? And they don't even want to acknowledge that. And so I myself got to the point where I'm saying, I'm tired of trying to make them acknowledge it. I ain't worried about it no more. My message from the Father is for whoever will hear. Whoever has been predestined to hear will receive it. Other than that, I can't do nothing for you. Some say, well, I can't see it. Okay, don't see it then. Don't see it then. And brethren, I come to the realization that that attitude is what makes us the most dangerous. Because when we get past the point of trying to convince them who we are, why we are, we get past the point of that and we're focused on just seeking the face of the Father for his glory alone. When that's our only goal and we don't care what anybody thinks, we don't care if we have approval or disapproval, that don't matter to us. When we just think only of the glory of the Heavenly Father and we're not worried about what they think, that's when we're the most dangerous, because then it's just between us and our Father. You understand? See, when you're trying to fight with people and you're trying to argue with people and you're trying to convince people, your mind is not on the Father. When you are seeking the Father's glory, your mind, your spirit is on the Father and on his truth. Okay? Wait a minute. Isaiah chapter 26, real quick. Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26. Watch this. Isaiah chapter 26. I'm going to begin at verse 1 and go down from verse 1 down to verse 4. Isaiah chapter 26 from verse 1 to verse 4. Notice what it says. In that day shall this song and experience. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will Yah appoint for walls and for bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Trust ye in Yahweh forever. And notice here, for in Yahweh with emphasis, is everlasting strength. You want peace? Seek the Father. Don't seek church. Don't seek religion. Seek the Heavenly Father and seek his Spirit. He'll keep you in peace. when your mind is stayed on him. And that is what causes the greatest fear of Satan. Of all people on the planet Earth, the Father has brought us forth for this purpose, to bring forth his glory, for his spirit to rest in us and on us. He brought us forth, and his word is going to come to pass. He said, I'm going to pour my spirit on all flesh. I'm going to cause my spirit to enter into you, and you're going to keep my statutes and judgments. See, that's what makes the most angry, the most scared. Okay. And when you keep your mind on the Father's spirit and his word, you will not be deceived, because the Father will guide you in truth. You're going to have a lot to unlearn as you're learning, you're knowing for yourself. You have a lot to learn and a lot to unlearn, but he's bringing you through the whole thing. He brings you through. You know, sometimes the devil tries to attack me, and I feel like I'm a guy I'm walking with my head like this, right? And my eyes are closed, but I'm just following. And then all of a sudden I open my eyes, and I'm at the top of an 80-story building on a tightrope and didn't realize it. and then, you start to panic, like when Peter was walking on the water, when he realized he was walking on the water, he got scared. And the devil tried to tempt me with that. And I remember, if I'm on a tightrope, if I'm walking on water, the Father got me here, and I'm gonna be all right. The Father got me here. He's gonna get me through. See, and that's what gives me peace in the midst of that, because I said, wait a minute, I didn't do all this. Like this morning, like the other day, I'm walking through the house. I'm like, how the heck did I get here? Sometimes you ever render, I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me. I got up, it was before 5 in the morning. I went into the kitchen for some water, and I just looked around and say, how did I get here? What the heck happened? And then I realized I didn't do it. I didn't choose it. The Father chose it. And then I was like, that's it. That's how I got here. The Father did it. And when it's time, he'll get me out too. You start to think like that, then you get peace. Then you get peace. And so the blood that this woman is drunken off of is ours. By and large, it's ours. Okay? It's the saints. Said blood of the saints. Hebrews are the saints. Again, I know the Gentiles get concerned when I say that. No, it's, you also that come in with us. You come in with us. Look what Paul said here in 1 Corinthians. I was just finishing this, man. And I just finished 1 Corinthians. And man, when I saw this, I said, wow, man. Wow. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And notice what it says, verse 1, 2, and 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1, 2, and 3. Now he's writing to converted Gentiles, converted to the Hebrew Israelite Messiah. Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 3. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaketh by the Spirit causes Yahushua a curse, and that no man can say that Yahushua the Master, but by the Holy Ghost. So he's saying, you were Gentiles led away to these abominations. He calls them dumb idols. In other words, what's that implying? You're not anymore. You're not a Gentile led away anymore. You're with us now. You down with us now. Okay, you down with us now. And then he writes the similar thing to the Ephesians in Ephesians chapter, I believe it's chapter 3. Let me just make sure. No, it's Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2. Watch. He says the same thing to the people at Ephesus. Watch what he says here. And most people stop in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, just like they do with John 3:16. They make it an island and they don't really focus on what he's saying in terms of its context. Notice again, let's start at verse 8, because I know all y'all heard this if you've been in a Christian church. This is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 down from verse 8. We're going to read from verse 8 down to verse 13. All right, watch. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yah, not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are, watch this now, we are his workmanship. Whose? That will be the Father's. We are his workmanship, created in Messiah Yahushua unto good works, which Yah hath before ordained that we should walk in them, created in Messiah. Again, being in Messiah means that Messiah's perfect righteousness is ours. Messiah became an innocent victim that we can be justified. Messiah stands in divinity and humanity that he can give that to us in Messiah. Praise the Most High. Messiah was broken that we could be made whole in Messiah. Praise the Most High. Okay? For we are his workmanship, created in Messiah Yahushua unto good works, which Yah hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Wherefore, remember, what do you got to remember, he says? What are you remembering? That ye, that is you Ephesians, being in time past, Gentiles, in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. That at that time, when you were uncircumcised Gentiles, ye were without Messiah, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Yah in the world. So at that time, you did not have Israel. You were strangers from Israel. You were strangers from the commonwealth of Israel. That's not just the land, of course, that's the nation. You were strangers from the nation of Israel. You had no hope. You were without the Most High. But, verse 13, but now, in Messiah Yahushua, Messiah is the Hebrew Israelite Messiah, line of tribe of Judah, that can bring you into the Judah in Israel. But now in Messiah Yahushua, ye who were sometimes far off are made nigh by the blood of Messiah. So you were Gentiles, but you not no more. You are now in Messiah, the line of the tribe of Judah, the king of the 12 tribes, the soon one that's going to rule the house of Jacob. Praise the Most High. So there you go, Gentiles. There you go. And that goes along with Moses, who said, not just you, but the strangers that dwell among you. Goes along with Isaiah that said, who keeps my covenant and my commandments? No matter if you're a stranger or not, you can come on in. There's plenty of witnesses. Okay? All right. Revelation chapter 17. Let's start again at verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns. We're going to stop here because this is another section we're getting into. But I wanted to understand that this woman is the mother of abominations and harlots. Who those abominations and harlots are, and they came all from her, which tells us Rome is the figurehead, the foundation of the 3 Abrahamic religions. Got that? And people are in wonder and admiration. And again, it goes to Revelation 13. Didn't it say, all the world wondered after the beast? And whereas we as Israelites were worshiping Yah, now we worshiped Baal. And we thought we were doing right by worshiping Baal because all of us were, just like Israel. And then the Father woke us up by his word, by his spirit. He woke us up. And now we're the troublers. Get used to that. You're the troublers. Because you're seeking the glory of the Father and his spirit, you're the one causing trouble. Just like Messiah. Messiah said he's a king and this is not his kingdom. You know, he causing trouble. He said he has a king. He says it's a kingdom. Caesar's the only king we know. But the Hebrew said, no, I got a kingdom, but it's not of this world. If it was of this world, my servants would fight. But it's not for me. He said, are you going to, can you tell us whether he was out? Okay, I am. Hereafter you shall see me sitting on the right hand of power, coming in the clouds of heaven. That enough for you? We have heard his blasphemy with our own ears. What say ye? He is worthy of death. Because he spoke the truth. Yes, brethren. Yes, brethren. It gets deep, doesn't it? See, and we see what everything is, what everything's about. We seen it. The word of the Father is telling us. This is his word. Please read your Bible. Right now, I'm in 2 Corinthians. I'm coming down the home stretch. Once I get past 2 Corinthians, man, it's just done right there. So I'm coming down the home stretch. I was looking to be done by the end of March, which the new year starts, basically beginning of April. So by that moment, by the grace of the Most High, I'll be done and starting again. That would be my 21st reading. Just finishing my 21st reading of the King James. I'm losing count these days, but yeah. So starting again on the 22nd reading. Praise the Most High. Let's keep reading, brethren. Keep reading, keep praying. This is the oracle that gets us through. This is the oracle that gets us through, brethren. It's the oracle that gets us through all the way. That's how we got here, right? That's how we got here. Father God is here. That's exactly right. That's right. Acts 19. That's right. Very good, brother GT. Yeah. Okay. Praise the Most High. So we'll come back tomorrow morning by the grace of the Father, Yah, and we'll continue in Revelation chapter 17. We got a good foundation here as we started with the beast in the wilderness, with the whore and who's on her forehead and what she's doing and what she did and how we got here and where we're going. Praise the Most High. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, brother. I got it.